Males of all races in America are struggling mentally, financially, and spiritually. Do you believe if more men had a purpose in their life, it would reduce their struggles? Please explain the reason for your answer.
Sure. I mean, but all right, a way we have to think about this too is who's given what's the purpose? You know, is the purpose just having a good job? There's a book I read recently called Men Without Work. I think the guy is a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute or something like that. So anyway, he's making the point that because men are no longer working like they used to, they're basically lost. Now, the interesting point he makes is like, you know, it's not like men aren't working and they're doing community service or they're helping out with their families or they're doing something for their community, whatever the case may be. He says basically they're spending time just doing things for themselves, you know? And so, I mean, what is purpose? Is it? I think that when we talk about men and purpose, it has to be more than the jobs that we have. I mean, is there some larger thing that we're being connected to? And I don't think that's the case anymore. Now, because in our larger society, men are, well, let's put it in American society at least, men aren't allowed to dominate things like they used to. It's very problematic for a lot of men. Like, you may have heard about the incels. Have you heard about these men? These men who are angry because women don't find them attractive or they're not able to dominate like they used to. So they're violent, basically, against women, against the larger society. So what do we do with that? You know, that those roles that men used to have that they no longer can. I mean, you can't be the breadwinner oftentimes that you used to be. You're not viewed as being the answer to a lot of problems in society, socially, like we used to uphold men as. So what are men supposed to do? So what is the purpose in this modern context? And I don't know the answer to that. But I think we need to find an answer because right now men are lost and they're angry. And that's never a good thing.
Yeah, because the purpose that was provided before is not there, as you just said.
No, it's not there. No.
But also I just feel that as society changed and women started working more and getting more education,
yeah,
we have to restructure everyone's role. And I think they're still trying to hold on to a traditional role that they can no longer play.
But the problem is now we say men no longer have these old traditional roles, but in terms of media and so forth, we still promote these ideals that we used to have. So men are confused. So like, on one hand, you're telling me I'm supposed to be the hero, I'm supposed to be the head of the household and all these other things. But in terms of my daily life, I can't fill those roles. They're not available anymore. So what are they supposed to do? So I think we have to really start to question what purpose are men supposed to have? What kind of purpose is available to them in our modern society? And I don't know the answer to that. Because I don't think it could be one thing anymore. It's not work. You know, working at a factory or doing something like that anymore. That's done.
I read a book called The Boy Crisis. I forgot the
Yeah, I had that. Yeah.
Good book, right? So you know, he speaks about how like men were basically disposable throughout history.
Yeah.
But now, I guess even within that disposability, you found purpose.
Yeah.
And now,
I mean, you went to war. You know you're gonna die, but at least you're at war. Yeah.
That has been stripped. So I think that's the source of the confusion. It's a very tricky time we're in, and starting from the teenagers up to grown men.
It starts earlier than that because look, a problem we have today is even younger children now having mental crisis in terms of they're not feeling like they fit in. There's an article in the New York Times not like several years ago, but probably 2 or 3 years ago, where the writer's making a point that young children in the African American community, I mean, 5, 6, 7 years old, committing suicide. I mean, even at that age, have some kind of crisis in terms of not fitting in. So by the teenage years, it's really a crisis. In adulthood, they're almost like completely lost. Because I think one of the things you point out, part of our development, if you look at a theorist, Eric Erickson has this theory of psychosocial development. One thing that's essential for our development is finding some sense of purpose, of feeling like you're competent at something, of feeling like you have self-worth because you can do certain things. Now, it's not just what you do personally, it's also having an environment around you that acknowledges that you could do this thing too, right? So even if I'm great at, repairing cars or, a painter, whatever the case may be, I may know I have that skill, but I need somebody in my environment to say, you're good at that. That's what I'm saying. And that part is missing too.
But doesn't that, I guess, well, we have the social media, which is an issue.
A huge problem, huge crisis.
But also, can't we always, I forgot who said it, but there's an argument there that we're not meant to live in these big populations.
No.
Because that takes away that inner thing that we need in regards to being validated.
Yeah.
If you're a good cook and there's only 10 people.
Yeah.
Good cook.
Yeah, but not if you got 10,000 people in the city.
All right.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But that's a whole different argument about the dangers of city life versus the way we used to live. And matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. There's an interesting book that just happens to be sitting here called Against the Grain by James C. Scott. And he talks about how the state kind of hurt our ability to explore what it meant to be human because the state gives us so much, right? Before, when you were a hunter-gatherer, you had to, first of all, you're subject to the seasons, right? You weren't getting certain things at a certain time. You had to know a lot more about your environment. Yeah, you had to create things all the time. Whereas the state, here it is. Go to the store, pick it up. You don't have to make it on your own. You don't have to wait till 6 months till it's available. Everything's available so easy for us now. And that's one of the problems with city life, right? I mean, even somebody telling you you're good at something, I just say it's a good thing. But what about those persons who aren't really mature in whatever they could do and get recognition far too easy? And that stunts your growth too. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. And the larger argument, there are challenges that are presented in terms of how urbanized we are. And it's going to get worse because we're not going back to the hunter-gatherer society, by choice at least.